Hello everyone. I want to talk to you a little bit today about sword and shield fighting. The type of sword that we're going to be demonstrating is a 10th, 11th century Lionheart type of sword. Now, what makes a good sword is basically its blade goes all the way through the handle, okay, and it ties to the pommel. The pommel is very important because that serves as a counterbalance. It basically brings the sword into balance. So one of the things that you want to figure out when you pick up a sword is where its balance point is, okay? Because basically this sword has a balance point right there. That means that when I make my rotational cuts, it's going to go around that balance point, okay? So that's an important aspect that you want to figure out when you pick up a sword. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a trainer so that during this demonstration I won't damage these bags that I have behind me. Okay, so the nice thing about this training sword is that it has a steel basket. This basket serves the same function as a pommel, in addition to protecting my hand. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring the balance point back so that it's about 3-4 inches from where the hilt would be right around here. So that the balance point is right there, and that's going to basically allow me to do a lot of these rotational cuts. Okay. Now, first thing I'm going to mention is when you're using a sword and shield, you use a sword and you use a shield. Okay. The type of shield that I'm going to demonstrate today with is a heater shield. It's important to know that there's many different styles of shields. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are different shapes, and each shield is going to be held and used differently. Okay. With a heater shield like this, what I want to do is I want to keep this corner up here. That corner is basically protecting my head. I'm looking around that corner, so I'm maintaining my visibility. Okay. This bottom corner over here is basically protecting my leg. Okay. This rear corner here is going to be protecting any shots that come around to the backside over there. Okay. Now the shield is basically almost probably about 98% defense. The sword also does serve a defensive service. I'm going to be holding it right about here. From here, I can block any high shots over here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to try and keep my shield at about 98% defense. Occasionally I might use it a little offensively. Maybe to pin somebody else's shield down or something like that. But I want to use the shield for most of my defense, and I want to use the sword for most of my offense. And the key to sword and shield fighting, especially with a large shield like this, is you want to basically keep the shield in front of you and basically attack around the shield. Okay, so the shield stays there, right, and the two arms are working independently. Okay, so I'm making all these various cuts, without moving the shield, without opening myself up. You never want to do this kind of thing. Okay, because basically every time I do this, obviously you can see how open I am. Whereas opposed to here, I can stay behind here and I can safely attack my opponent. I can every time I take an attack, eventually I want to come back to my guard over here. So I'm always protecting myself. Okay. An important thing to understand is that any shot that you throw out is probably going to be answered. So as soon as I throw a shot out there, the chances are that it's probably going to be blocked, and my opponent is probably going to answer it back. They're probably going to attack me back. So I want to immediately come back to a tight defense. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the shield down, and I'm going to talk about a couple of basic strengths. And the assumption here is that I have a shield here. I got rid of the shield so that you can kind of see my body. And again, as I'm making these shots, you can see how my hands kind of, as I'm putting this striking out, this hand has to compensate, and basically we almost have to come together so that I'm always guarding myself. Okay. So the first shot I'm going to show you is the onside shot. That's going to be, we call it onside. It's on this side of the body. And the key here is basically it's a high horizontal shot. It can also be a low shot. Basically all your shots are going to be around the shield. So they're either going to be over the top side of the shield, or they're going to be to the bottom of the shield, or they're going to be along one of the edges of the shield. You're never going to throw a shot directly into somebody's shield because that's not going to accomplish anything. Okay? So the thing with this onside shot is assuming that you're using a very heavy sword or you're a not so strong person, you want to try to get as much body into it as possible. So if I want to put as much body into the shot as possible, from here basically I would first get my hip into the shot, then get my head into the shot, and then extend. So it's hip, chest, extend. Okay? Hip, chest, extend. Okay? Now, as the person's a little bit stronger or perhaps the sword is a little bit lighter, one of the things I can do is I can maybe use a little less body, and a little bit more arm. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a slightly faster shot. Okay, so instead of going hip, chest, body, I can, just kind of just turn a little body over here, and then from here it's boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's my high horizontal shot. It's going over the other person's shield. Okay, it's either there or to the leg, head, leg. Okay, now always coming back to my guard. Okay, the other shot I'm going to show you is the offside shot, which is coming to this side of the body. Okay, and with that, again, depending on how heavy this sword is, I might put more hip behind it or more body behind it. So I'm actually extending like that, and kind of pushing off my toe, but maintaining contact with the ground. Okay. If the sword's a little bit lighter or I happen to be a little bit stronger, I might put a little less body into it and just arm the shot like that. From there, I can also bring it down there and maybe get into an armpit so I can vary the angle of this shot. Okay. Another shot is what we call a slot shot, and basically what that shot is, I'm looking to come on this side. Okay. It's going to come down the inside over here. And again, let me show you with the shield. And with the shield, that shot's going to look like that, right? And that's going to come down on the inside of the other person's shield. Okay. Now again, with that shot, a lot of it has to do with how heavy your sword is and how much body, how strong you are and how much body you need to put into the shot. If you've got a light sword or you happen to be very strong, you can almost, you can almost just bang, just come straight into that angle shot. If your sword happens to be a little bit heavier, you're probably going to need to bring your arm up and come down. So you're lifting the arm using your large lat muscles over here. Okay, raise up the sword and come down. Okay, so that's a slot shot right there. Okay, so those are your main shots that you're working with. So you've got your onside, you got your offside, you got your slot shot. Okay. Now another shot you're going to work with is your thrust. Okay. Seems pretty basic. The problem with the thrust is it's kind of easy to see. And what you want to do is you want to kind of disguise your thrust into your cut. So if I'm going to make a cut, come back and throw a thrust into it, or basically if I'm going to thrust, I'm going to immediately turn it into a cut. Okay, so it's thrust, rotate it into a cut. That can also go from the head into the leg. Okay, and that can also work on the other side. It could be, an onside cut like that. I can also pull it short and make it a thrust. Okay, I'll do it from this side so you can see against the bag. There's your cut, okay, and there's your thrust. So cut, thrust, and basically it's the same motion. Okay, and all I'm doing is I'm just basically pulling the cut a little bit shorter and just turning it into a thrust. The same thing. There's my cut, thrust. Okay, cut, thrust. So your thrusts are kind of disguised into your cuts. One of the nice thing about the thrust, it can allow you to change the different shots. Because normally when I throw an onside here, okay, from there the natural place for me to go would be to the other side. Okay? So if I throw an onside, I want to basically go to the offside right there. If I throw an offside there, I basically want to go to the onside. Or if I go to offside to the head, I'm going to go onside to the leg. Okay? One of the nice things about the thrust, it can allow you to mix that up, where it's like offside, thrust, and now from there, I can go to the offside, so it kind of mixes up the combination, So, it could be cut, thrust, offside. So that's one more thing I can now throw into the mix to kind of confuse my